I'm Kendra Cook, your host for the DCTV Daily News program out of Dove Creek, Colorado. The Dolores County Broadcasting Network is the producer of DCTV with support from the Southwest Colorado TV Translator Association, which is the special district association responsible for bringing the area free-to-access TV stations over the air by antenna. This is a community TV station. If there is a news or story, event, information that you would like to share, you can call us 970-677-4119. If you're a business or organization, we welcome you to find out about sponsorship opportunities for banners or video segments run on the channel. This is the Thursday program for March 26, 2020, DCTV Daily News. You may have been awoken to the cell phone text alarm this morning at 7 a.m. that Governor Jared Polis issues a statewide stay-at-home order that's starting Thursday today to try to slow the spread of the new coronavirus. The Journal reports from the Colorado Sun article that the order was to go into effect 6 a.m. Thursday and continue until at least April 11th. Polis said at a news conference yesterday, "All we're asking is for you to stay at home for as much as possible for the next couple of weeks to buy us the time that we need. It's not too late to act now to stay home to save lives." The decision to enact the mandate comes just days after Polis said such an order was unenforceable and not the right direction for the state. Instead, on Sunday, he issued, quote, guidance asking Coloradans not to leave their homes unless absolutely necessary. But on Monday and earlier on Wednesday, counties in the Denver metro area essentially shut down by each enacting their own stay-at-home orders. Other Colorado counties, including Pitkin, San Miguel, and La Plata, also issued stay-at-home orders on their own, some late last week. The order is the most significant step Polis has taken as he tries to make a dent in the spread of COVID-19, the disease caused by the new coronavirus. He announced it just minutes after the deaths tied to the coronavirus in Colorado hit at least 19, and the number of confirmed or presumptive cases ballooned to over 1,000 in the state of Colorado. "We're issuing the, quote, stay-at-home order to save lives," he said. Polis faced some criticism for not earlier enacting a stay-at-home order. Republicans, however, have said the mandates are unreasonable. Details about the order were not immediately released, but it generally mandates Coloradans to stay home unless they need to leave for necessary business reasons or to get food, exercise, or seek medical care. And exercise means going for a walk, not going to a gym. Those are closed. Businesses deemed critical are exempt. Though a list of those was not immediately available, they must, however, adhere to strict social distancing measures. It's likely the stay-at-home order will further hurt Colorado's economy, which has already been deeply damaged by the coronavirus outbreak. Thousands have filed unemployment claims in the state of Colorado. And a side note that announced today, this morning on Thursday, nearly 3.283 million people nationwide are now on unemployment. That's unprecedented. That was released this morning on 3/26. Polis also said Wednesday he's asked President Donald Trump to declare Colorado a major disaster area. Quote, "I call upon President Trump to grant this immediately," he said. Polis had already closed down bars and restaurants to in-person dining. Ski areas, theaters, casinos, gyms, and schools had also all been ordered shut down. Polis said that the restrictions need to be lifted as soon as possible to prevent further economic damage. And locally here in Dolores County, there are still no known cases of the virus at this time. The Board of County Commissioners issued an alert this morning to their employees that regarding the stay-at-home state order lasting until April 11th, the Dolores County employees are all considered essential workers. At this time, we will continue doing business as we have been, they say, with the courthouse and government buildings closed to the public, and most workers being able to work from home with limited staff abiding by social distancing measures at the courthouse with an increased cleaning regime for those who need to be at the workplace. They concluded the message by stating, quote, "Stay safe, healthy, and pray this will be over soon." And now let's take a look at the local weather into the weekend and actually looking nice for the start of next week. Today, sunny with a high near 54 degrees, windy with a south-southwest wind 15 to 20 miles an hour, increasing 25 to 30 miles an hour in the afternoon, and those winds could gust as high as 45 miles an hour. Hold on to your hats. Tonight into early Friday morning, isolated snow showers are possible after 5 a.m. Mostly clear with a low around 28 degrees and still breezy with a south wind 20 to 25 miles an hour, decreasing to 10 to 15 miles an hour after midnight, but those winds could gust to 40 miles an hour. And for snow, it's only a 20% chance overnight. Then into Friday, snow showers are more likely. Mainly afternoon, partly sunny with a high near 41 degrees with south winds 10 to 15 miles an hour becoming west in the afternoon. Looking at a chance of precipitation at 60%. New snow accumulation of less than half an inch is possible. Then Friday night, mostly cloudy, then gradually becoming mostly clear with a low around 22 degrees. Northwest winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. For Saturday, mostly sunny and a high near 45. West-northwest winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. Saturday night, partly cloudy and a low around 28. For Sunday, partly sunny with a high near 48 degrees. Sunday night, mostly cloudy and a low around 29. For Monday, mostly sunny again with a high near 51 degrees. Monday night, mostly clear and a low around 29. And Tuesday again, sunny and even warmer with a high near 58 degrees. Tuesday night, mostly clear and a low around 33. It's still a good time to get your garden weeded and start thinking about planting or starting your seeds. This season may be actually the season to be growing your own food source. So keep that in mind as you think about how you can grow for family, friends, and neighbors. We've got this. And now, back to the news. Fortunately, it appears that all of our political representatives are trying to help the population and their constituents navigate through this difficult time. It's confusing with all of the orders, guidelines, statutes, bills, and emergency status operations to try to determine just how that affects your particular situation and your life. DCTV will continue to work to bring the news in layman terms, that is, simplified to what generally you want to know, and then provide the detailed links on the Facebook page so you can do further research on your own. Representative Scott Tipton, Republican of Cortez, provides updates from his office on how they are working for District 3, that's Southwest Colorado Congressional District, for your best health and wellness. In a press release, they write, less than 3 weeks after testing for COVID-19 began, our state went from a handful of presumptive positive cases to more than 900, with many of those in rural communities throughout our district. With thousands of tests pending, we are likely to see a sharp increase in the coming weeks. It's imperative that you follow the guidance from local, state, and federal experts to keep you and your family safe. Doing so now will save lives in the coming weeks. The intent of these measures is to, quote, flatten the curve or reduce the speed of the virus spreading. This method gives healthcare providers and hospitals a better opportunity to provide life-saving care to the patients that need it most. Preventing the spread, especially in vulnerable populations, is going to play a significant role in how well hospitals can respond to the virus. By now, he says, he hopes that you have read through the guidelines from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention on how to help achieve this. But in case you haven't, here are some quick tips. 1. Wash your hands, and frequently, with warm water and soap for a minimum of 20 seconds. 2. Avoid close contact with others, especially if they have been sick. Maintain a distance of at least 6 feet from others when in a public setting. Stay at home if you are sick. Clean and disinfect frequently touched surfaces daily. Following these steps is especially important in these early weeks of the outbreak. Since there are many different precautions being enforced at the local and state level, it's also critical that you check with your local public health department for their guidance. You can find a breakdown of county resources on Tipton's website, tipton.house.gov, and then we also have links on our DCTV Daily News Facebook page to the Dolores County Health Department and the Board of County Commissioners for all of the latest updates. At the federal level, Representative Tipton continues that my staff and I are working to provide rural hospitals and health care centers additional resources to protect themselves and patients, assure American families and businesses that an expeditious and targeted economic response plan reflects their immediate needs and is void of any political or long-standing wish list items unrelated to COVID-19. On a side note, tomorrow we'll have an update on the bill that the federal bill funding, which is not called a stimulus, but hopefully we'll have enough in the $2 trillion to help communities, as well as some of the pork belly items that did get put in the bill. Anyway, continuing with Representative Tipton's announcement that he plans to continue to update communities on resources available to them via conference calls, telephone town hall meetings, and posting up-to-date resources on his website. Communities around the globe are working together on the fastest means to mitigate the impact of this virus on our way of life. I am confident, he says, that by acting quickly now, we will save lives in the coming weeks. I encourage you to continue to stay informed by checking in with your local healthcare providers or by calling the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment's hotline, and that is 303-389-1687. Another side note, do not call dispatch regarding the COVID-19 or your sheriff's office. This will just bottleneck their office for unnecessary information. The Department of Public Health and Environment's hotline would be the best one to call to get directly to the resource that you need. Again, that's 303-389-1687. And I encourage you to contact us anytime at one of my 5 offices. If I can be helpful to you, we will return your call as quickly as possible, he says. The most recent update from March 24th is Tipton announced additional funding for community health centers in rural Colorado stemming from the first COVID-19 supplemental funding bill. So know that there are projects, programs, and plans in the making and on the way to help all parts of our community to get through this as best as possible. Some may take time, and as we run out of face masks and other potential health and food items, remember never to run out of patience and love. And an article by Michael Snyder of endoftheamericandream.com. And he has a nice summary article about all of the CEOs that coincidentally retired last year and many more that did so in January of 2020. There's no conspiracy, just providing information that you can consider for yourself. He writes, in the months prior to the most ferocious stock market crash in history and the eruption of the biggest public health crisis of our generation, we witnessed the biggest exodus of corporate CEOs that we have ever seen. Corporate insiders also sold off billions of dollars worth of shares in their own companies just before the stock market imploded. In life, timing can be everything, and sometimes people simply get lucky. But it does seem odd that so many among the corporate elite would be so exceedingly, quote, lucky all at the same time. In this article, I am not claiming to know the motivations of any of these individuals, but I am pointing out certain patterns that I believe are worth investigating. One financial publication is using the phrase, quote, the great CEO exodus, to describe the phenomenon that we have been witnessing. It all started last year when chief executives started resigning in numbers unlike anything that we have ever seen before. The following was published by NBC News last November. Chief executives are leaving in record numbers this year, with more than 1,332 stepping aside in the period from January through the end of October, according to new data released on Wednesday of that article. While it's not unusual to see CEOs fleeing in the middle of a recession, it's noteworthy to see such a rash of executive exits amid robust corporate earnings and record stock market highs. Last month, 172 chief executives left their jobs, according to executive placement firm Challenger, Gray & Christmas. It's the highest monthly number on record, and the year-to-date total outpaces even the wave of executive exits during the financial crisis, and that would have been back in 2008. By the end of the year, last year, 2019, an all-time record high of 1,480 CEOs had left their posts, but to most people, it seemed like the good times were still rolling at the end of 2019. Corporate profits were rising and the stock market was setting record high after record high. Yes, there were lots of signs that the global economy was really slowing down, but most experts were not forecasting an imminent recession. So why did so many chief executives suddenly decide that it was time to move on? The following are just a few of the big-name CEOs that chose to step down in 2019. Dennis Muilenburg, Boeing; United Airlines CEO Oscar Munoz; Alphabet, which was Google, Larry Page, he left; the CEOs from The Gap, from McDonald's, Wells Fargo, Under Armour, PG&E, Kraft Heinz, HP, Hewlett-Packard, Bed Bath & Beyond, Warner Brothers, Best Buy, New York Post, Colgate-Palmolive, MetLife, eBay, and Nike, to name some of the most recognizable ones. And of course, the mass exodus of chief executives did not end there. In fact, a whopping 219 CEOs stepped down during the month of January 2020 alone. By then, it was starting to become clear that the coronavirus that was ripping through China could potentially become a major global pandemic. And this author said he certainly can understand why many among the corporate elite would choose to abandon ship at that moment. Some of these CEOs have made absolutely absurd salaries for many years, and it is much easier to take the money and run than it is to stick around and steer a major corporation through the most difficult global crisis that any of us have ever experienced. The following are just a few of the well-known CEOs that have resigned so far in 2020. Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney; Jeannie Rometty, CEO of IBM; Harley-Davidson CEO Matt Levatich; T-Mobile CEO and the CEOs from LinkedIn, MasterCard, Salesforce, Credit Suisse, and Hulu CEO Rander Freer. It is important for the author to say that he does not have any special insights into the personal motivations of any of these individuals, and every situation is different. But he does, and I personally do as well, think that this is quite strange that we have seen such an unprecedented corporate exodus at such a critical moment in our history. Meanwhile, top corporate executives were dumping billions of dollars worth of shares in their own companies just before the market completely cratered. The following comes from the Wall Street Journal report. Top executives at U.S. traded companies sold a total of roughly $9.2 billion in shares of their own companies between the start of February and the end of last week, a Wall Street Journal analyst shows. The selling saved the executives, including many in the financial industry, potential losses totaling $1.9 billion, according to the analysis, as the S&P 500 stock index plunged about 30% from its peak on February 19th through the close of trading on March 20th. In the stock market, you only make money if you get out at the right time, and many among the corporate elite seem to have impeccable timing. Perhaps they just got really lucky, or perhaps they understood that COVID-19 was going to cause the global economy to shut down. In any event, things worked out really well for those that were able to dump their stocks before it was too late. And it turns out that several members of Congress were also selling stocks just before the market went nuts. Senator Dianne Feinstein of California and 3 of her Senate colleagues reported selling off stocks worth millions of dollars in the days before the coronavirus outbreak crashed the market, according to reports. The data is listed on a U.S. Senate website containing financial disclosures from Senate members. Of course, most ordinary Americans were not so, quote, lucky, and the financial losses for the country as a whole have been absolutely staggering. The good news is that there have been tremendous ups and downs on Wall Street throughout, and that will provide some temporary relief for investors, but the number of confirmed coronavirus cases continues to escalate at an exponential rate all over the globe, and this crisis appears to be a long way from over. And some recent announcements to catch up on. For the most part, nothing new has changed for our new normal way of life here around Dove Creek. Everyone is working to stay healthy and help one another as best we can to weather this storm of physical, mental, and spiritual well-being, along with our material and economic hardships. The town of Dove Creek released a recent notice with the title, Declaration of Local Health Disaster Emergency, which reads, whereas the state of Colorado has declared a state of disaster emergency due to the presence of coronavirus disease 2019, COVID-19 in Colorado, and authorizing response activities associated with the disaster emergency to enable state agencies to coordinate response, recovery, and mitigation efforts, D 2020-003, Executive Order dated 11 March 2020, and whereas Ordinance Number 215, Series 2018, an ordinance concerning procedures for declaration of emergency, sets forth the procedures for a declaration of emergency disaster and implementation of emergency disaster procedures, and whereas the presence of COVID-19 in the town of Dove Creek is an imminent threat to the health and well-being of residents and visitors requiring emergency mitigation, whereas the presence of COVID-19 in the town of Dove Creek is an imminent threat to the economic well-being of the citizens of the town of Dove Creek and the town itself, now therefore be it resolved that 1, the town of Dove Creek declares that there is a local health disaster emergency in the town of Dove Creek, and that occurrence of imminent threat of widespread or severe injury or loss of life or property resulting from the COVID-19 virus requires emergency mitigation. 2, the effect of this declaration of a health disaster emergency shall be to activate the response and recovery aspects of any and all applicable local and interjurisdictional, local, state, and federal disaster emergency plans, and to authorize the furnishing of aid and assistance under such plans. And 3, this declaration will be posted on the Town of Dove Creek website and provided to the press, the Department of Emergency Management, and other necessary local, state, and federal agencies. This was moved and seconded and adopted the 23rd day of March 2020, signed by Brett Martin, our town mayor, and attested to by Rolane Randolph, town clerk. So notices such as this I post up online, along with any story links, resources, info, and the like on our Facebook page, which is DCTV Daily News, where you can also watch the program replay along with news links and stories of local interest. And you too can share other events or news there and join in on the conversation. The COVID-19 alerts and notices are coming in at record pace, so we are doing our best to sort through and bring you the most relevant and critical information. Thank you for your continued patience. Again, this is your local community TV station, so if you have something you'd like to share or are interested in seeing on the news, contact us by email dcbnnews@dctv.com. dctvdailynewsprogram@gmail.com, or you can call us 970-677-4119. Most probably you'll need to leave a message due to social distancing. Thank you for tuning in to DCTV Daily News. Programs are broadcast Monday through Friday with replays online on our YouTube channel or our DCTV News at noon, our DCTV Daily News Facebook page. If you like the program, please do like and follow us on Facebook and share it with your friends and family. This has been a production of DCTV for the DCTV Daily News program out of Dove Creek, Colorado, USA. I'm Kendra Cook. Thank you for watching.